Well, I've got this obscure, inexplicable fascination for exotic knives. I've already shown this strange little beast on my channel. If you haven't already seen the video, link in the description. And so I thought it would be kind of interesting to make a series about that, about the weirdest knives I can find, and show them off. This here is a clear candidate because of this very unconventional opening mechanism. There are certain Paratrooper knives, which this probably is inspired by, which have a similar manual out the front mechanism, but this here is definitely very unique. So what is this? It's made by Smith&Wesson. It's called the Power Glide. Somewhat of an unfortunate name choice in my opinion. The first thing when I see this, when I read that, is I think of lube. So, I mean, yeah, it does have some in and out action, but okay, let's not delve too deeply into this. But the question is, with an exotic design like that, what's its purpose? What's it good for? Well, it's obviously a novelty knife. And novelty is also the reason why I got it. Because like I mentioned, I like weird stuff. But the question is it really practical? On one website I've seen the primary use indicated as EDC, everyday carry. I don't necessarily think so. First of all, this is clearly a two-handed opening design. There's just pretty much no way you can open this with one hand. And there is a reason for that specifically, namely this locking piece right here, which is plastic, by the way. I wish it was metal, simply for durability, but that's what it is. So it snaps into place here, and that's what locks the knife. So there's no amount of shaking or fiddling or pressing, whatever, will open this. You need to pull it apart with both hands. There's just, I don't see any other way. There's nothing where I could get my fingers into, just no chance. You have to open this with two hands. What you could do is, not close it completely so that it doesn't snap in place, and then you can try to flick it open and then, push the handle against your leg or something else in order to close it, or just, push it in with one finger and then you can close it like this. But of course, if you carry it like that, you might just bump into it and then it might close. So that's not necessarily an alternative either. At first, when you get this, it's very stiff, at least this one was. This definitely took some breaking in. But now that it is, as you can see, I can actually open it, not necessarily quickly, but at least not super slow. What happens sometimes is what just happened here, that it just, this locks into place here with the bars in horizontal position, because now when you push against it, they just block each other. So sometimes you have to push against it with a finger. But if you open and close it with this kind of choppy motion, it takes some practice and some getting used to, but you can do it, which probably looks very, very wacky, but you can do it. But yeah, speed is definitely not a strong side of this thing. What about ease of carry? Well, it comes with this clip here. It doesn't have a belt clip, but it has this round piece right there where it slides in. You have to hold it horizontally. If you do it vertically, it doesn't work, and there's a reason behind that. You push it in horizontally, and then when it swings there vertically, it locks. So, I have to applaud their innovation for coming up with this, because it's pretty smart in that, if you want to carry a knife openly, and if you are legally allowed to carry a knife openly, this is pretty much one of the most accessible designs you can have. If this hangs from your belt, you don't have to reach into a pocket or anything. You just grab the sucker, turn it and slide it up, and there you go. It's as readily accessible as an openly carried fixed blade knife in a sheath, basically, if not more. So very, very easy. But the problem is, you carry this on your belt, it swivels around, it's gonna hit your leg, it's gonna be annoying probably, simply because it's just free swiveling right here. So yeah, and again, thing with open carry, depends on your local laws. And otherwise, it just doesn't have a belt clip or anything. You would have to stuff it in your pocket otherwise. And this thing is long, so you have to have deep pockets. If you have cargo pants, no problem. Jeans, you might run into problems, to say the least. Let me just show you a bit more construction right here. There's the blade in there. And the blade, by the way, is made of 440 stainless steel. Unfortunately, they don't say what it is exactly. Is it 440C? Is it whatever A? Who knows? But it's fairly cheap steel, which at that price range is not really surprising. Typically, this goes for $15, $20, around that, so you can't really expect top-notch steel quality for that. One thing that I find is kind of wasted potential is, oh, come on, focus, is there right here, it has, you know, there is some grind here, but it's not really sharpened. You could probably sharpen that yourself, but there's not a sharp edge, it's just on the one side. And that's what I'm kind of not getting. You know, you have this spear point design. This could be a dagger blade. And this is one of the very few knife designs that could get, folding knife designs, that could get away with that. Because since it is sliding in and out the front, there's no contact with any part of the blade whatsoever. It is always hidden inside the handle. So why not go with double-edged? Because, well, you could. You can't do that with a regular folding knife, but with this you could, so why not do it? That's kind of what I'm not getting. And blade shape, this also brings me to the next point, you know, usability, purpose, EDC, not so much. I mean, come on, this is mostly a dagger blade, even though it only has one edge. But this is mainly, a blade like this is mainly for combat use. But a slow opening design like that is not exactly super tactical, quote unquote. So self-defense, not so much. So yeah, that leaves us with the question, what exactly is it good for? Cutting things, I suppose. Well, let's see how well it does. This is right out of the box. I haven't cut with it yet. I haven't sharpened it. This is just the way it comes. Oh, awesome. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't even cut. This is not impressive. So you have to sharpen this. They did not know how to put a really functional edge on this. In fact, you know what? Oh, really? Okay, I don't want to sound overly critical here, because I actually do like this thing. It is pretty cool, and it's a lot of fun to play around with. You know, I totally find myself occasionally just reaching for this thing just to play around with it, just because it's fun, you know. But practicality, yeah, not so much. Let me talk a bit about the handle. The handle is, as you can see, pretty simple, kind of a balisong style handle. If you like that, it's fine, but it's just, it doesn't offer anything exceptional. It's fairly smooth overall, and it doesn't have a guard, so yeah, it's not the most secure thing in the hand. So in terms of functionality and practicality, this doesn't really convince me, to put it like that. I may have sounded a bit more negative, in fact, than I feel towards this thing, simply because of, well, the lack of really down-to-earth functionality and practicality. But like I said, I do like it. It's cool. Yeah, sounds stupid, but it is. It really is. It's fun to play around with. It's novelty. It's good for collectors, which, you know, I am. I like to collect exotic stuff. So for that, it's awesome, especially at the price. I mean, come on, $15? You can't really complain about that, especially since, you know, the construction is good. There's not really a problem with the mechanism there. There's no blade play at all. It just locks up rock solid, so no complaints there. It's just not the quickest or most convenient or most effective design in the world. But yeah, sure cool. So as a collector's knife, yeah, I can recommend it without a problem at that price. If you want something for everyday carry, for practical use, I would suggest looking elsewhere. Thanks for watching.